NBA, ESPN, Friday night. The rematch between the Knicks and the Bucks. It's 8 o'clock. Ryan Ruocco, Doug Collins on the call. And right now, Ryan Ruocco, the play-by-play voice for Friday Night Hoops on ESPN, joins us live from Milwaukee as these two teams will go at it again. It was a great one Wednesday night, Ryan. You'll get a front row seat for it. Welcome to the show, pal.
Thank you very much, man. I'm looking forward to the rematch after what we saw in that first game because you can't get much better than a buzzer beater.
No, you can't. And, I don't want to say a star emerged. We know Giannis has kind of been on the scene, but up close, personal, I guess if you've never seen him in person, to see a 7-foot guy do what he does, it's got to be kind of amazing to see him that close.
He's incredible. I thought there's a great piece in Sports Illustrated that Lee Jenkins did this week, and he had a quote from Scott Brooks, the Wizards head coach, who said, "You think he's traveling. We all think he's traveling, but he's not traveling. He's just taking these incredibly long strides." And that's one of the things that's amazing to witness in person is how he gets from from underneath his own hoop to the other basket in seemingly the fewest amount of strides you've ever seen. And he is really expanding his game. This is a guy who works, man. I mean, he really puts in effort to his game and to constantly get better. And we have seen that this year where he has added different elements to his game that make him, more refined, more dangerous. So, yeah, we had already seen the athleticism, and that was something to behold from the jump, right, as soon as we saw him on the floor. But now he's comfortable making point guard decisions. Now he's comfortable isolating in the post for a big bucket like the game winner we saw the other night. He's becoming more comfortable shooting threes. The results have not followed yet, but he swears that's just around the corner. And I think maybe the most important thing that he's developed is making plays for his teammates in winning moments. And we've seen that over the last couple of games, a win against the Thunder and then this win against the Knicks. So he is a special, special talent.
We're talking with Ryan Ruocco, one of the voices of ESPN's NBA basketball tonight. Knicks and Bucks, and Carmelo 30 in that loss, but no Porzingis. We're talking about a 7-foot guy who can play. You didn't see him. He should play tonight. He's another very unique talent.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he as well has some freakish capabilities. His ability to, put it on the floor at his size is crazy. His quick trigger, a lot of times when a guy is that big, it takes a while for them to, get the ball from where they catch it up to where they shoot it, especially when a guy is long. But for Porzingis, his release is stunningly quick. And he has more lateral mobility than a 7'3" player should have, certainly. And, there are parts of his game that he's still working on. I know, Jeff Hornacek's been working with him on his post game, and that's something that he wants to see continue to evolve. And there are certainly elements of his defense that need to improve greatly. But he's another guy that just, when you have a weapon like that, most teams are not going to have that. And it becomes something very difficult to account for. And he also, like Giannis, is a really effervescent kid. I mean, these guys have wonderful personalities and great passion for the game. So I think they're, outstanding stars for us to be able to grow and to watch grow into their careers.
Well, let's keep it with 7-footers and stars and come local. I don't know how much you've seen in person of Joel Embiid. I've said if there's 5 guys I'd pick to pay money to see in this league right now, he's got to be one of them. He's doing things, Ryan, that in an NBA arena I've never seen happen before. A 7'2" guy who can have point guard skills. He can put the ball on the floor. He'll pump fake. He'll shoot the three. I think he was leading the league in three-point percentage for a little while there. He might still. I don't know how much you've seen of him, but just kind of give us your opinion of this Embiid myth who missed 2 years of basketball and didn't have a lot of experience to begin with.
Yeah, he's a total stud. I broadcasted the Sixers-Nets game a couple weeks ago when he put up his career high, and he was just magnificent. His footwork in the post is incredible. He can score from literally anywhere. I mean, there was times where he was the trailer in transition, got a pass top of the key, and without hesitation, boom, pull up, nail the three, as if he's an in-rhythm shooter like Kyle Korver. He was that comfortable with all elements of his game. And I think the other thing that's, an important aspect of him is he clearly is a personality star as well, whether it's his hilarious tweets or, I even saw his Instagram last night where he's posting slide into my DMs with his location. He's a funny guy. He's a really funny guy. And I think for, the Sixers organization and the Sixers fan base that has obviously gone through a lot over the last few years, it's a nice reward to see that, okay, who knows, you still got to see about a lot of your other pieces, right? How are you going to make the front court fit? What is Okafor going to be? How about Ben Simmons when he finally gets back healthy? Dario Saric, what can he be for you? But this guy, without a doubt, is going to be a star franchise player. I do not have any sliver of doubt about him being that kind of for the next 10, 15 years.
All right, Ryan Ruocco's with us. Knicks and Bucks tonight on ESPN, 8 o'clock. I'll call it with the former Sixer coach, Doug Collins. Ryan, the NBA right now, you travel around and see a lot of these teams and a lot of these games. Many people feel that it's maybe a 2-team league, possibly 3 or 4. How many teams do you think have a shot at winning the whole prize right now?
Well, obviously, you're right. In the 2-team is how you initially feel, right? Like, it's the Cavs and the Warriors are going to meet in the finals, and we all know it, right? But then you start thinking about what Houston's doing, and they're the one team that I think interests me most, and I respect the heck out of the Spurs, and the Clippers certainly show elements where they can perform on both sides of the ball as well, but the Clippers haven't shown that steely resolve in big moments in the postseason that we know the Warriors have been through over the last couple of seasons. The Spurs, you wonder, do they really have the athleticism needed to hang with Golden State in a series? Houston is interesting because they play such a defined style, and they're so good at oiling their own machine that you wonder, by the end of the season, what could that offense look like if it already looks like this now, and these guys have been playing together in this fashion for just a few months. Mike D'Antoni's in his first year. Eric Gordon's in his first year there. Ryan Anderson's in his first year there. Yet the pieces fit so well. And, even losing Clint Capella, who's the perfect big for that system, they haven't missed a beat. They're 17-2 since December 1st. So ultimately, are we going to say Houston's going to beat Golden State? No, I don't think we're gonna predict that. But the way they play and how good they are offensively, would it be shocking to me if that ended up a really interesting series where you start thinking, you know what? Could they possibly outscore them 4 of these 7 games? Like I think they're the most intriguing team to upset the apple cart. And as far as the East goes, if Cleveland's healthy, it's hard to see any team beating them, right? But Toronto is a really, really good team, and Boston is a really, really good team now that they're finally whole. The interesting factor, if the teams remain as is, I don't think anyone sees Cleveland losing, but you never know. One injury can change things, or one acquisition. And the Celtics do at least have the assets to try and add. Who knows if that would be enough to sniff Cleveland if Cleveland's healthy, but I think those would be the teams you're kind of like watching just to see if anything happens personnel-wise that changes.
Yeah, I think that was well put. I know that game last night was a lot of fun between Houston and Oklahoma City. McCollum, Lillard, Clay, Harden, Westbrook. There's just a handful of guards so far. Who's been a guy that has stood out to you in terms of the guard position? It seems that, man, there are so many good guards play. There's such good guard play in this league right now.
There's terrific guard play in this league. Look, I think that from a standpoint of who is the most exciting guard to watch in the league this year, I think you'd have to say it's Harden and Westbrook, right? They've both been just dynamite, which is fascinating in some senses because Steph Curry has been without a doubt the biggest draw entertainment-wise over the last 2 years. But this year, and maybe it's just because it felt gluttonous with Golden State adding Kevin Durant to that group, so you almost feel like, yeah, of course they're winning, or maybe because Steph isn't doing quite what he did last year. But this year it feels, or maybe it's more about just the unexpected, right? Like, wow, we didn't think the Thunder would be this good, and they are. Or, wow, we didn't think the Rockets would be this good, and they are. But this year it does feel like it's about the guard play of Westbrook and Harden as far as, just the pure entertainment of the game. But the guys you mentioned are also fascinating to watch. McCollum is a dynamite scorer who's a really interesting guy and super smart. And Damian Lillard, he is a different kind of athletic as well, the way he can kind of water bug around. But, the guard play in the league, we have seen continually get better over the last 10 years to where you have people say, hey, it's a point guard league, it's a point guard league. And I think I appreciate it so deeply because if you look at, I also broadcast Brooklyn Nets games, right, in addition to the NBA on ESPN. And if you look at what they're trying to do in this league right now with Jeremy Lin out, like putting and Isaiah Whitehead looks like a really nice rookie, but man, having a second-round rookie have to play point guard in this league on a night-in, night-out basis.
We feel you.
Right? I mean, exactly. Once Simmons went down, it's like, what? Every single matchup, it feels like you got to be kidding me with how good the point guards are in this league, and especially in the West. So, I mean, hey, there's nothing that better exemplifies how good the point guard play has been over the last few years than the fact that Mike Conley's never made an All-Star game in his career. Obviously, this year he's hurt, but this year we just added James Harden to the point guard mix, so that tells you how much better.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of why I asked that question, just to kind of personify here the Sixers, who have been trying to win with guys like McConnell and Sergio Rodriguez, and then last year with Ish Smith and guys like that you can have all the front court talent, but, man, that guard position, and just watching some of these games over the last couple of nights, watching these guys catch and shoot and take the ball to the basket, they're on another level. Those teams that have those catch-and-shoot guys, they're on and even, the kid like McCollum, who I bring him up just because he seems like he's so much more under the radar. The way he shot the ball the other night, it's like, man, the Sixers or the Nets, they got nobody close to a player like that.
You know what? And McCollum he's a true stud. But I think, one thing that would be encouraging from a Sixers standpoint is seeing what's happened with Giannis in Milwaukee, because he's basically been their point guard. And I think a lot of times when we hear like point forward, it's like, yeah, but can that really work, or can you just do that for a possession or two, And I know that's, when he's healthy, that'll be kind of the idea with Ben Simmons, right? Like, no, we're going to give him the keys, let him run the offense. And people would wonder, well, can he do that? And I think it's good and encouraging for the Sixers to have an example, in the league right now of a player who is doing that quite capably. So even though the Sixers don't have their, prototypical point guard yet, I think they may already have him on their squad. And I think that he could end up answering a lot of those questions that you have right now about that position for them.
Ryan Ruocco, Doug Collins on the call. NBA on ESPN Friday night. Knicks and Bucks should be another good one in the rematch. That's at 8 o'clock. Our guest has been Ryan Ruocco, the play-by-play voice for ESPN Friday Night Hoops here on the Sports Bash. Ryan, appreciate the time. Good NBA talk, man.
Yeah, really enjoyed it, Mike. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, Ryan Ruocco, everybody, here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN.